Alrighty, guys, let's get started this thing. Welcome to the blockchain program. So, what are we going to be doing 3 days? So, let me sort of explain. You guys give you a very quick rundown what's going to be happening, so that you understand it, where we stand and what we're going to be doing. So, I think first of all, thank you for coming in. Look, as I said last time as well. Money is easy to find when you're looking for money, but the hardest bit is people's time. And you guys have given me your time, and I promise that I'll make sure that it'll make it worthwhile. You'll be after 3 days, and I would like you guys to have some sort of intention set. What would you like you guys to accomplish in part of that? So we'll do that as an exercise, but keep that in mind as well. You need to set an intention. What do you like to accomplish from this? Because I don't want you guys just to sit here. I'm going to say stuff, listen to that, and when you walk out of this room after 3 days, everything just disappeared because you're only going to remember 10% of the stuff, right? So better be nice stuff. What are you trying to do it in that space rather than just random stuff, right? So have that intention set so we all know what you're going to be listening to, and you pay attention to certain things which you're supposed to be learning, right? Because there's going to be a lot of content. You probably have seen it about 300 pages or 400 pages. This is all that stuff we're going to talk about. But see how we go, and I'll try to cover all of that. But if not, then we still have the Wednesday calls where I sort of take on from there and start doing more of the work. But how to get most out of this workshop, right? So this is the main thing, how you can actually start doing it. Number one thing is play absolutely full out. One of the biggest thing, if you probably have seen it, the kids, right? The kids remember all of the stuff. Kids are the quickest learner. Kids learn very, very quickly. The reason they do it is because they play full out. They're fully into it. They ask questions. They're engaging. They are doing all that sort of stuff. Because what happens when we grow up is we just becomes too serious. And I'm guilty as charged for that for sure, because I forget all the time how to have fun, how to enjoy myself to do stuff. So play full out, ask questions, do stuff because this is a practical thing, right? If you are working in this space, whichever space you're working in, you want to go out there and start making and doing something tomorrow, right? Monday is there where you're going to be start executing things. Exactly what are you going to plan this weekend? So play full out so you can actually know what you're going to be doing. If you don't understand what you're going to be doing for next 90 days, ask questions. If you don't ask, I don't know what you guys are going to be struggling about. Please ask questions because it's really hard otherwise that when you don't play full out. The second thing, take heaps of notes. You've been given these, scribble everything, write everything down. Whatever you think, write it down. Whatever I say, write it down because you don't know which is going to be helpful for you tomorrow. Right? That's why the pages, that's why all that sort of stuff are left there on purpose so that you can actually start writing everything down. Ask plenty of questions. Don't sit there, just sort of listen to me. I want to have this one-on-one kind of conversation because this very small room, we are pretty sort of, small crowd. Let's have that one-on-one discussion because you don't know that your questions might help somebody else. They might not be asking the right question or don't know how to ask the right question. Some of you guys are way ahead in this space. Some of you guys are just starting out. So ask a lot of questions because that helps the other people as well. So everything is learning here. So as I said earlier, we all are in a learning space. We all trying to do something which hasn't been done before in this space, and everything is learning. So become that learning machine today. Absorb everything. Become a sponge so you guys can take on a lot of stuff. Be coachable and be responsible. When I say be coachable, what does that actually mean? Be coachable, yeah? Yeah. So I'm not going to be, can I be honest? Yeah, you get the honesty, right? I'm not trying to become your friends, right? I'm going to say it as it is, right? I'm going to say it as it is. So be responsible to take on that. And I'm not there to criticize you. I'm here to push you forward. And I'm going to do my best to push you forward. Some of the things I'm going to call out. I'm just going to be calling out, guys, that's it. You're doing this, you need to stop. Right? So I'm going to be calling out it. So it's not because I have something against you, nothing. I'm just going to be trying to teach in that perspective so everybody else and you can learn and move forward. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for you because our businesses, our life is not there because it just randomly got there. There is a reason behind it. right? You are there because there is your thoughts and your actions took you here. Park the old learnings for a while. The reason I said park the old learnings for a while, what I meant to say here is, if you bring in, what are the most destructive sentence in English dictionary? Yeah, I can't is one of them. Yes, I know, right? So this is the most destructive words, right? If you already know, you actually make a full stop. There's nothing to learn. So you already know. So park this on side that you don't know. And I'm certainly, I can say that I don't know everything either. But what I'm going to talk about, I've actually mastered that in the last few years, right? So that's the only reason I'm going to talk about it. I can't teach you how to waterproof stuff. I wouldn't have a clue. I can't teach you what you do. Like you manage like 200 word people's team. I can't teach you how to manage people in different countries. I'm not in that space. But I know this space, right? So become a learning machine and absorb everything in that space, right? Get outside of your comfort zone. So in 3 days journey, you guys are going to be really frustrated. I can tell you, you're going to be really frustrated. And frustration, if you are not getting frustrated, please try your best to get frustrated. Right? Find something to get frustrated about. Even I say something you didn't like, get frustrated about it. Because that's where the breakthrough is. You really want to take yourself to edge so you can get out of that. Because the frustration comes when you're getting into the new zone, new comfort place, right? Can somebody tell me what is comfort zone means? What is comfort zone?
Like your life is going all good, everything is good.
Yeah, everything is good. What does actually comfort zone means? Everything is good, yes.
In a place where you feel secure.
Feel secure, yeah.
Secure,
Yeah.
you know what to do, and
You know.
it's just like a
Certain.
You're certain, yeah.
Automated robot mode.
Automated, yeah. Can I say just in a simple way I describe it? This place is comfort zone. Your past is comfort. If you already done something in the past, you already know that, that's a comfort. But if you don't know what needs to be done to move to this level, that meant to be uncomfortable. The past is comfortable. The past is always comfortable. If you want to get into the future, if you want to get to the desired result, desired you, that meant to be uncomfortable because that's not your past. Right? So you're going to go into the next level. Embrace frustration. I already told it. That's going to be frustrated for some of you guys. Get committed, right? We're going to do some of the exercises. Uh, all these has no meaning if you don't take any action. All these learnings, wherever you go and learn from other people, has no meaning if you don't take any action. So become a massive action taker. Today, absorb everything, learn everything. Monday morning comes, start running a massive action. So that on the Wednesday calls, when we keep up, I'm going to open that up now. The Wednesday calls is going to go differently now. I'm going to open that up and we're going to actually have the discussion about the project. What are you doing? What action have you took? What are you working on, right? So that's going to become totally different call. I'm not going to start doing the teaching work. I'm going to start helping to people who are action takers. If you're not taking action, you're going to feel left out in that space. So become an action taker. Anything you're doing is a good thing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Whichever way you're doing it, whatever you start to do it, that's a good way of doing it. Because what happens is you can't stare a parked car. You can't stay at a parked car. You have to get going. You have to start moving. You change it along the way if you don't like the journey, but you can't stay at a parked car. You need to move somewhere, right? So let's sort of talk more about you. You guys know a little bit my story, but I want to tell from the point where things have changed, where I became who I am today. Right? It's not every day I was like that. I would start teaching people, but my mind was always like entrepreneurial. I wanted to start my own businesses. I wanted to work on something. It always like I want to do a business. I want to do a business. I want to do something. I want to create something. So I always wanted to create something. But see what happens is, see if you guys can relate to this. I became really good at what I was doing. I was really good at what I was doing. and I was expert in my domain. What happened is when I started my first company, I left my best domain, which I was really good at, and I came into this space, which was very new to me. And my biggest problem came in that space was how to get clients. Because when I was in this space, when I was working for somebody else, like IBM's and Oracle's and all the other companies, clients were given to me by somebody else. That problem was solved by somebody else for me, and I was executing the work. But when I came to this space, and there was a new business for me or my own business, then I knew what I need to do when the client's on board. I was serving them really well. But something I need to start learning, that was a new bit, which I didn't know that before. How to actually get the clients, right? And I think all of you guys in the same space where I was, that how to actually get the unlimited amount of clients that you don't need to worry about them. You are very good at executing what you're supposed to be teaching them, giving them the work, delivery systems, and all that. But getting the clients on board was the biggest problem for me. And I was trying to get the learning that process. But then along the way, what happened is I kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it, and I kept failing it. And I kept failing at every business I was because I didn't solve this problem. And I get excited, like, you go into the workshop, you meet some nice people, you say, I want to start this business tomorrow, I want to do this business. And when you start the business, you spend so much time doing the stuff which you're not supposed to be doing. Like, you're trying to make the website really cool, you're trying to make the processes really nice, you're trying to put my client onboarding thing, it's going to look like this. All that delivery stuff, you're trying to make it really nice. I do the same thing. I did exactly the same thing, trying to make all the stuff very cool and nice. But I didn't solve the major problem. That my business had a major problem was that I didn't have clients. I did not have any clients. And even though I tried my best, like, I go on and reached out to every people on LinkedIn, the people who were really close to me, the people really, they were like, Jag, you're the best guy in this space. If the business comes, we'll definitely give it to you. And I said, okay, I left my job, now give him the business. They're like, sorry, we can't give the business. Like, what? You said to me you're going to give them the business, right? All the business is going to come to me. What happened now? Sorry, this is not right. Manager's not here. I have to ask somebody. Keep catching up for meeting after meeting after meeting and coffee meetings. And I was spending so much money on coffees. I was like, what the hell's going on? Am I getting something wrong? What didn't I understand it here? That was my big question. So my big question was this one. And this is how to solve a lead problem. That was my big problem, right? How to get unlimited lead in my business so that I don't need to worry about my business. And I said, and this is the learning or sort of awakening I had along the way, is that I think sometimes it takes a long time for you to admit, took me a long time to admit that there is a problem, right? And I understood that I was pretty good at what I was doing,
I exactly agree.
right?
I just think, yeah, you're right. And
Yeah,
because you've been doing it, you
for a long
know
time.
it, and every meeting you will pick
Yeah,
up and you do. I'm in the same situation.
yeah.
I think.
So it was like, took me a while to actually admit that and own that there is a problem. And my problem was I don't actually know how to run a business. I mean, I know how to run a job, which I do it, but I don't know how to run a business. So the moment I admitted it and I said, I have a problem, now let's go and find a solution for that. Let's go and find a solution. Who's providing a solution for this? So I read about 50 sales books. I've gone out and I said, okay, same formula which I was talking to you guys, find out who done it, go and replicate it exactly. Gone and read the books. Right? I said that's the first starting point. Then started paying people to actually help them. But then I started to understand it. Hang on, there is a big thing missing in that. That's part of the journey for me, was finding who I was, what I was doing, why I was lacking. So my awakening happened as part of that is whatever I was getting at the time is just because that's how I was taught. Right? And I'm sort of going to go through the detail with you guys as well, what happened with us, how our belief system get built, how we actually start journeys. But my biggest issue was I didn't have any experience running a business. My family were employees, everybody in my sort of group. My uncle, aunts were employees. My neighbors were employees. My teachers were employees. My music teacher was employee. My swimming instructor was an employee. The guy who was teaching me business at the university was an employee. Everybody was an employee. And I was like, if everybody's an employee, what are they going to teach me about a business? They just, everything is a theory. They think that. So what do I need to do for that? I need to become a scientist. Rather than me trying the theories, let me become a scientist. When you become a scientist, the pressure of being an artist disappears. Can you tell me the difference between a scientist and an artist?
Artists try to perfection everything he does, and scientists discover new ways how to do it.
Yeah. What scientists do is they try it. They go and try. If that doesn't work, they remodel it, go to the next level. If that doesn't work, they experiment again, they go to the next level, right? That's how we scientists do it. They try the theories and then they apply it. If that doesn't work, they tweak it, go to the next level. So I said, I need to become a scientist in this space rather than trying to be an artist, which I was claiming to be an artist in this space, and I'm trying to get everything perfect in that space. And I said, I need to be a scientist. I became a scientist in this space. When I became a scientist, the pressure, you know how much pressure we have? Like, why don't we do this right? Why don't we have this? So these are the primary questions we ask ourselves all the time. Like, I don't know, what you were, for me was, why can't I get everything right? That was my primary kind of question all the time. And I know that you guys, if you think of that one question, you always ask yourself every day. Every day you ask one question. I don't know what that question is. If you know that, write it down. What that question, one thing you ask. I used to say that to me, why can't I get everything right? Why can't I get everything right?
I had it the other way to say,
Yeah.
what is the gap?
What is the gap?
What's the gap? Like,
Yeah.
why isn't it coming through? What's missing?
Yeah. That's actually a good question because now you're actually looking for it. What's missing? Let's go and find it. But the question I was asking was a pretty stop sort of, like, that's it. My question was not open-ended in finding the answers. My question was just stop it. What's wrong with me? I don't know. They could find 100 answers tomorrow. Right? What's wrong with me? Ask my wife. She'll tell you exactly what's wrong with me. she
She'll give you a
probably
long list.
she probably have a list of things tomorrow to
And
tell
also
you.
some solutions behind it.
I know. She's yesterday telling me exactly how to run 3-day training. It was like,
I'm just gonna record and play that to put it out.
yeah, she's going to be watching it anyway, so it's good. So look, that was my biggest problem, right? So I kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. But what happened is,
So
I think,
how much did that help for you to actually ask that question, and did you actually find little things every day to fix, and you were having a journey towards that fixing it, or did you one day aha moment? How did
I
that
think
happen?
there's always is a compound effect. There is never in life we say that it's everything happens today, tomorrow. We make the decision like this, but that making that decision, like, when we say that's it, no more anymore, right? I'm not gonna drive this car anymore. I'm out of this relationship. I'm into this relationship. That happens within milliseconds. But to get to that milliseconds, that takes lifetime, right? That's always a compound effect. For me, the same thing as well, right? So it took me long time to get to that level, not because I think I started to ask the right questions. For me, was asking the right question, what I need. So me was missing the lead thing for my business was really important for me, right? I wanted to find the answers. Where can I go and learn these skills? So what happened is I was asking these questions, and then the reality hits in, right? And the reality comes in place, and then you sort of left your job. That was in 2009 for me. I left my job, and I said, I was at IBM at the time, and I resigned from IBM and said, I'm going to leave my job. And job was paying about $200,000 per annum. Pretty cool job, right? I was good. I was managing people. I had everything you think of that. I had everything. Like, if you look at a standard way of looking at it. People who come from a families making really good money. I had a family, I had kids, all that sort of stuff was there. But something big was missing. I left my job and I said I'm going to start my own business, and came to my business, opened my laptop. First day was resigned IBM. Now I'm my own, and opened my laptop, sitting at home, was like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do? What do I do now? I just sent a few people some emails, and I emailed like a couple of other guys, and I was just like, there's nothing to do. What do I do? Because before that, somebody else was giving me the work. Now nobody's giving me the work. There's nothing to do. I was my own, so I didn't have any work. I went like that for a week or 2 weeks, exactly like that, and trying to call people. I didn't know how to speak on the phone as well, like how to do the sales call, how to set meetings, send some messages, emails, and stuff to people, trying to get them to come in. Eh. But after 3 months, I just couldn't take it anymore. There's no money coming in. I couldn't win any contract. I tried all my friends, all the people who said they're going to help me. None of them came through. It's not their fault. Look, I don't blame them. It's just the way the industry works, right? It's just they can't just do that, right? So it's not their fault. Something big was missing in my side. So I was trying to go to people and trying to ask them for help. None of the guys came in. After 3 months, that was the worst feeling of my life. Then I had to actually start applying for the jobs again. I said I need to apply for the job again, and I applied for the job. I got a job, pretty cool job. Everything was fine. Got a job again, paying $1,000 a day. That wasn't anything bad at all. But then again, back of my mind was, I don't want to do this. Like I don't want to do this. Who feels that exactly? Like when you're getting everything, but you feel that I don't want to do this. Why I'm doing this, right? Every day, right? I want to do this, but I want to do something else. Why? When this is gonna work? And then again, started work. After 1 year, worked there for a year, saved up some money. Again, the same thing. Left my job again. I said, I'm going to start my own company again. Then I opened up a company called Tribox, subscription company, which I was sort of building. So what did I do in that sort of Tribox is the same thing. I spent most of my time building the business, doing the website right, doing the ordering the boxes. The model for that business was you send, like, my idea was, that was my idea in a way, that we go to the shopping center all the time and we buy 80% the same thing again and again. You don't replace it. You get same thing again and again. If you have a kid at home, you definitely need nappies. No doubt, you know that how many nappies you need. All that, it started from that nappy thing because we had a little child. And I said, I don't want to go to shops again and again to do that. I know a lot of people have the same problem. You don't want to go to shops again and again, buy nappies. Why don't I just supply them monthly subscription basis? It's just going to turn up at your door. You don't need to worry about it. You have a little kid, you just change the size, whichever size you need, and then get the people to come in and do the work, right? They deliver to your house. But I spent a lot of time designing the website, designing all that ideas. It took me about 3 months sitting at home, not working, but just designing the platform. And I did that again. Once the platform finished, I ordered the boxes from Camberwell, drove there, looked at the company who were supplying the boxes. They gave me the different option. I bought the boxes as well, spent about $3,000 buying the boxes, put them in my garage. The people are going to start ordering it very soon. Put an ad on Facebook, all that, got 3, 4 people ordering it as well. But then what happened one day was like, is that it? What's going on? What I'm doing? Like the question just came up. What am I doing? Oh, just why I'm doing this? Yeah. Well, what I'm doing? Am I supposed to be doing this? Yeah. Well, why I'm doing this? And then overnight, you won't believe, overnight I shut that business down. Overnight. Woke up in the morning, I'm not going to work that business. $20,000, $30,000 gone in the drain straight away. I woke up and shut down that business. And that's not just one example. That's like 13 other examples like this. Kept doing it again and again, again and again, again and again. And the biggest reason was when I was growing up, and that's again going back to the childhood. I remember when I was growing up, anything which, the biggest thing I wanted in my life at the time, just wanted to play cricket. Just wanted to play cricket. I wanted to play cricket full time as a profession. And that was my biggest thing in growing up as a childhood, that I don't want to work for I didn't even know work existed at the time. I just wanted to play cricket. And I was pretty good at that cricket. And The biggest thing at the time, we used to have cricket bats. I was grown up in India, if and we used to have cricket bats there, and they were pretty cool. Like you're supposed to pay $100 to get a really cool bat, and I want a really good bat, and I wanted a really good bat. What happened? There was a time that I had my birthday. My mom packaged a really like long package, gift was sitting there in the place. When I woke up, I looked at it. I was like, "Holy crap! Looks like a cricket bat." And I gone and when I woke up and I trying to open that box and trying to find it, you know, when I was opening that box and trying to find it, trying to open that box and seeing inside what I saw at the time was I couldn't believe my eyes. I just couldn't believe my eyes. That's it. I was really disappointed in the space. And all I wanted at the time was just a cricket bat. Just a cricket bat. Life has sort of gone at the time, changed quite a lot. Came to Australia, played in this country at different places, played for Monash, played for Caulfield, played for other places, moved to Darwin, went up to the B grade team, if you know the grading in this country. Went up to the B grade team. I was playing cricket. I had a coach there who was really cool. His name was Anthony. Anthony was our coach. We called him the coach, and the coach was every day, 3 times a week. We turn up at the nets and practice, practice, practice. And I think that taught me quite a lot because we were doing practicing quite a lot. Tuesday nights and Thursday nights were practice nights, and Saturday and Sunday was the match days when we were doing it. So one of the things my coach used to say that to me, Jag, life is a learning thing. It doesn't matter where you are, what you do, life is a learning thing. So the more you learn, the better you become. And that became my mantra from life. Life is a learning thing. You got to learn, 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 learn all the time. If you're not learning, what happens is you're dying. The only thing you do is learn, 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 learn. The other thing is always said to me, Jag, you got to trust the coach. You got to trust the coach. If you don't trust the coach, what happens is life has no meaning. You need to trust the coach. So he made it sound like very simple at the time, but because of him, my life is today whatever it is today, right? Because he taught me those lessons. He became the first mentor. He became the first instructor. He became the first coach in my life who taught us pretty much everything what I'm doing today. All the practice came from a game of cricket because all I wanted from my childhood was a cricket bat. It all started from that place. So the learnings he gave me, first learning was the most important learning was, Jag, you always have to be open to learning. Learn as much as you can, learn as much as you can, learn it, learn it, learn it. Become that learning machine so that life throw anything at you that you know the stuff. But keep that in mind. Don't become a journalist learner. Most of the people in the world, they are journal learners. They want to know when the Great Wall of China was built. They want to know which country's capital it is. They want to know this, that dates when something happened. Don't become very journalized learner. Become a specialized learner. When you are in cricket, become a really good batsman. When you are a bowler, become a really good bowler. You become something. You don't just become a cricket player, you become something. Right? So don't just become a player, become something in that space. That was my biggest learning in that space, that I need to become something. If I'm not becoming something, I'm just a very journal guy. The moment I adopted that, that actually helped me with my career, with my business, with everything from that point onwards, because you need to just recall the stuff when things happen, bad things happen, right? When you go back in your life and you start to think of, hang on, this is what he said, that's what he actually meant, and I've been applying it unconsciously. Like, remember the time when I started my first job as a DBA, and I was a DBA in that, a technical, database administrator. I finished my uni, and that was in 2001 when I finished my university. I became a journalist IT guy. That was very journal IT guy, right? There was nothing in there which is going to get me a job. Because what the journal IT guy, I said I need to go out and become a specialized in something called database administrator. How did I do that? Nothing was random at the time. I didn't actually listen to anybody. What I did was I went up to the online website portal and found how many jobs were advertised, which jobs were advertised in last 6 months. They were in demand, and I found that DBA jobs were in demand. And I said, okay, they were in demand. I need to become something which the market is asking for. I gone and did a bit of studies, became a DBA, got a job really straight away. Nothing happened in that. That's what happened with the architect world as well. Same thing. I found what's in demand, became an architect part of that. And any business which I was creating as part of that was demanding something. Market was demanding something at the time. So I became that. Right? I didn't become journalist, just a standard journal guy for that. I became something. So I want you guys to look into your life today. See, wherever you had little bit success or massive success, you guys became something. You didn't just have it because you were journal. You took the ownership and you said, I'm the guy for this. Right? I'm the guy for this or girl for this. I'm the person for this, right? If you are a project manager, I'm the project manager guy for this. Right? I'm the guy. So come and talk to me, right? So when you became like that, it happens to me as well in life, is when you took the ownership and became something, the life actually started to throw stuff at me really well. So that's how it happens, started to happen, the first business. So now look at this blockchain, if I talk about it, right? So last year, or when Ray Dalio sort of mentioned that, it's like everybody else says that, right? He mentioned to us, we listened, we didn't listen. Some of the guys didn't even listen. Some of the guys invested about $1 million in Bitcoin at the time. He's now, I don't know, gazillionaire at the moment. So a lot of guys did stuff at the time. I did listen to him, but I didn't listen to him. But what happened last year was, again, something came into my market, right? I started teaching people just because I wanted to just share my knowledge, share my experience. I started to teach people. The moment I started to teach people, people come and started to ask me questions. This is how do we do it? How do we do this? How do we do that? And there was market. I said, I'm going to leave it to the market to tell me what they want rather than me trying to put my idea out there and say, this is what I'm going to do. The market came to me and started to give me something in this space. They gave it to me. I didn't say that. Market gave it to me. And I said, okay, if market is giving to me, let me help them get that. And when I actually asked them for money as well, they were happy to pay it because that's what they wanted to do. I didn't want to teach them this, not at all. Nothing at all. You guys are here because you guys asked for it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't say that early on that I wanted to teach this at all. Market asked for it. Right? So think of that from your perspective today, where you are today. We come back from life. Like I'm a trained, in a way, if I look at it, IT guy. I've been a technical guy a long time, been an architect for a long time, now being a business owner for a long time. But I've trained, right? I became something. But it doesn't mean that I can't become something else as well tomorrow. If the market demands, if the market says that we need a scientist to take people to the Mars and we need somebody to train them, why can't I become that and teach people how to go to Mars tomorrow, right? As long as I enjoy doing what I do, right?
Good question.
Yeah.
When you look at it, like there's a lot of major companies that are established. For example, if I use IBM.
Yeah.
If I put myself out that okay, I'm specialized in blockchain or something like this, and I'm going to start selling this one product, that people come to me. Mostly companies that try to focus and go on and say who can they trust, who's already got that baseline,
Yeah.
a foundation.
Yeah.
How do you break into that market?
I've got two answers for this. One is we look at the things we are familiar with. We always look at the things we're familiar with. Have you ever seen and your wife ask you go get a salt from a cabinet, and you open the cabinet and ask scream back and saying, where's the salt? Where's the salt? And your wife says, it's in the cabinet right there in front of you. And what do you say? Right? And you open up and it's like, I can't see it. I can't see the salt. Where's the salt? And your wife come in and say, there it is. And you're like, I didn't see that. Right? It was always in front of there, right? Yeah? It was all. I know, right? It's always like this. So what?
That's a man's problem.
Yeah, it's a man problem, right? So we always see things what we're familiar with in that space, right? So if you see IBMs and NABs and all that, I made the same mistake because I was familiar with them. I was trying to approach them for my business, even though they were not my direct connection or market, right? They were not my market. They were not my market at all. So I need to change the market to become successful, right? So now I'll give you one tip. IBMs and Oracles and all their companies in a back end, but the people there are still people, right? If you attract people, companies will come. So give you my big thing, and this was my $1 million finding. We started our cloud company, right? We started our company, and guess, I mean, I'll show you where I learned from as well. So it's not sort of secret in that. So, but my finding was I was doing the same thing, right? We created a product. We said it's going to help the IBMs, corporates, and all that really well, right? They're going to help them. I know because I come from them. It's going to help you guys. Take my software. They said, no, sorry, we can't take your software because you're not a partner with us. Right? Sorry, we can't take. You need to be in a panel. All that sort of stuff, right? All that listing come in place, and you're like, what do I supposed to do now? I can't work with them. So then again, the rule is you work with people, and people always do whatever is right. So what did I do? I go on and sort of approach the technical teams, technical people in the companies, and I say, this is the software we created. You want to try for free? It's going to save you time and money. They're like, oh yeah, wouldn't mind trying it for free. Why not? Go try it, and tell us if there is a bug in it. And they tried it, and they told us, and we sort of retweeted it, whatever we need to do for fix the bugs and issues they came back with, and we fixed it. Then the guy said, hang on, guys, my company is doing this work. Would you want to take on the work for us? I said, yeah, absolutely. You can use our software and pay us this much amount of money. They said, yeah, we'll do it. We didn't have to sell it. We just sold the right guy. So what happened is, when we were looking at it, our target market, this is what happened with our target market, right? So when you start work, right, this is how you start. This is how it's supposed to happen, right? As a person, when we start any work, sorry guys, when we start any work for us, you look at here. This is your target market, right? You want to hit the target. You want to hit that. This is where I want to go. But what happens most of the time is you go here, you go here, you go out of this, you go here, you're hitting this target, you're hitting this target, hitting this somewhere here. But we rarely hit this target. The reason we rarely hit this target because we don't actually know who we need to target, right? We don't actually know what we really need to target. If you work in the universe space, and I'm going to talk about metaphysics and the universe and God, whatever you want to name it, I'm going to talk about that. He or she, whatever it is, this thing called market, or you can call it a universe, gives us signs all the time. It's not a one-way connection. It's always a loop. This is how it happens in a journal, in a way. If you try to speak to somebody, they tell you what things are wrong with us. What are the things they're looking for? It's always a loop, always a loop. So when you look at it, rather than you, based on the information and feedback, and I'm going to share that with you guys, you'll see that. I'm going to give you this example today with my business, how I changed based on what people said to me as well. So you can actually see the practical. So wait for the 3 days for this. Not the first day, but this is how we do it, right? It's a loop thing. The moment you get the signal back, you change that, your product started to get better. But I think the first question you need to start asking is, what are you trying to sell? If you try to, remember, somebody read a book called The Blue Ocean Strategy? Yeah, Blue Ocean Strategy, right? Blue Ocean Strategy talks about the same thing, Blue Ocean and Red Ocean. Similar stuff, exactly same thing. Most of you guys, and if you're coming from a corporate background, we all are pretty standard. We are in that shape. They made us in that shape, and we're trying to sell the same shape to somebody else. It's like we are apple making machine. We make the same apples, and we now get out of the corporate and we're trying to make the same apple and trying to sell the same client. So client comes to he's got two apple. One is coming from IBM, the other one coming from your company, and now looking for apples are similar. Why would I get it from you when I'm getting from IBM anyway? Right? So that's the reason. So if you're selling some other fruit, then they might look at it. But if you're selling the apple to apple again, it's just really hard for clients to look at it because there's no difference. There is no unique selling proposition in that at all. And we use different language in the business world, right?
I think it's a comfort factor also because I am being totally opposite bench where Ganesh
Yeah.
is talking about. So I do select technologies and professional services. And why I will never go to any XYZ because it's comfortable for me.
True.
I will never be fired for choosing IBM but choosing XYZ. So
Yeah.
same thing. So
It's a very comfortable position, right? And also,
easy for me.
yeah, what we do is, and also the reason you and we all go into that level because it's unknown space. We don't know what's out there yet. That's what we are familiar with. That's what we are known to. If you are known to something, you're very familiar with something, you're just going to go to the same place again, right? So that's what we do all the time. So my journey started in this space. The cloud company gone in that space. Now this started because people wanted to do this, right? That's what I'm doing. What I'm doing today. But going back to the space where I got started for the first time till today, has journey has been last 18 years, right? 18 years, and I've spent a lot of time in trial and error. So what we're going to share in 3 days, we're going to talk about this thing. And 3 days, the trial and error, the method which I developed, it became this thing called experts quadrant method, which I learned from other people. And the reason I say experts quadrant method is because I developed it. And I found that if you want to become an advisor and consultant, an expert in industry, you need to be talking in a similar language in a way that other people understand it. Right? If you don't talk in that language, that it's really hard. So you might be speaking in Japanese, the people don't understand Japanese, and then you're like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like that, right? Not understanding the language. But I tried and tested this method so many times now. Um, it's like now I purposefully try it. The reason you guys here today, because you've gone through this process, right? If you remember the presentation which I did the other day when you came in, this was this. I tried, this is what it is, right, in front of you. The reason I've got this business going on is because of this. This is how I tell. This is how I talk about. Everything goes into this level to actually teach people about becoming a consultant and expert. I became because of this quadrant, and this is how you need to learn from that. If you're building a website, you need to follow this model. If you're speaking to a client, you want to get a more business, you need to follow this model. It's a model, it's a pattern. If you follow this model and pattern, then you're going to be, at least take the client on a journey. So we always say that it's not a constant target. When we look at it, we look at our clients as like this. It's just a target we need to hit. Our clients are standing here, right? Some of them say my clients are accountants. Some of them say my clients are, IT guys. Different, depends which target are you looking at. But our target is always moving. The world is not standing static at one place. We know that, right? Target is always moving. It's a moving place. It's going somewhere. So what you need to do is show them exactly this way that you can actually talk. So today and the entire presentation for 3 days is based on this model as well. Firstly, we're going to talk about why. And you're going to do some certain exercises today, which we talk about your why. What are you going to be doing? What are you going to be doing? You're writing down exactly who's your target market, who are you going to be talking to, all that sort of stuff. And then we're going to talk about what are you going to be doing. So who liked the framing kind of stuff? Who wanted to learn more framing, right? Yeah, cool. We're going to talk about in what? What are we going to be talking about tomorrow morning? That's a framing. Exactly telling you the steps to win any meeting, any client you walk into. Wherever you have that contention, wherever you have the issues, wherever you felt there is an issue with the client, sometimes you just walk into a meeting without knowing why you're going there. You're going to find out, you're going to learn how to set the framing scenes as well. We're going to talk that about. So we're going to talk about the steps. Some of you guys like steps. Some of you guys following blockchain path. Some of you guys following certain different paths. Then we're going to talk about how the steps to get there, right? Firstly, we need to set where we're going. Then we're going to talk about how the areas of that, how you can actually win it. Then we're going to talk about the steps, contracts, all the blockchain bit if you want to integrate the blockchain into your path. If you want to integrate project management, this is going to help you, the project management as well. Phillips is for accounting world, and he's going to look at it from an accounting perspective. So all that are the steps. What happens? Remember what I said in the first day when we met? We all talk about the steps. We all talk about the steps. I need steps, how to do it. The reason you don't, or you're putting stress on the steps, because that's how we've been taught. We need to look at the steps. Steps are the more important things. I need to know how to call people. I'll give you the scripts. I've got the contract. I'll give you all that as well. If you're in that, just go and execute that. That'll do the work. But before that, you need to understand why you're doing that work, right? Whether you actually want to do that or something else. Once you understand that, that script and everything becomes a second nature. That's easy. I call that bit is my 20% bit because I was concentrating on that 20% bit for entire life. The moment I understood the 80% of the bits, my life changed. And the money side of things completely changed. I think the biggest impact happened with the money. My relationship with money wasn't that good from day one. The moment I applied this psychology, which I'm going to talk about today in the why section, it changed my money mindset. And I tell you, money comes from different places without you even knowing it. Somebody just buys stuff which you don't even know they bought it for you. Wouldn't it be nice that you're sleeping, you're still making money? Right? Wouldn't it be nice? And I've tried that and it works so well. I made $8 when I was sleeping one night. That $8 were worth more than the thousands I made on the other side. I got a message, tring on my Stripe on my message, like somebody made $8. I'm like, who paid $8 to me for what? And I didn't actually know that. I went and searched for it. I'm like, who paid me $8? Why $8? Where did the $8 come from? I wrote an article on Medium a long time ago, and that article became hit. Somehow people started to read it a lot, right? And that article gave me $8. Like, holy crap, that works. I just need to write more.
Yeah.
Right? That works. Who knows DTube here? You know DTube, right?
Yeah.
I put videos on DTube. Right? It's like a YouTube, but it's a DTube is exactly like that. This cryptocurrency market. So you can actually start putting your video content out there and start making money when people view it. It's based on the viewership. If you have a lot of viewing, then you make quite a lot of money. Right? So yeah, so that's how we're going to go through in this entire thing, right? So what would I like you guys to sort of think of that is, as I said earlier, set your intention for this, right? So, see you, Andrew. Cheers. And set your intention for this. But let's have a look. Firstly, I just want to explain to you what we're going to be doing, right? 3 days, how it's going to sort of work through it. First is we're going to talk about the why stuff, where, what we're going to be doing, why. And I truly believe why is more important than how and what. And you need to understand the why a bit more. But we're going to have a bit of breaks in the middle. So you start at 9:30, 11:30. We'll have a 5-10 minute break if you want to go to the toilet or something. We're going to grab a tea or coffee, or feeling sleepy, and then we have lunch about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then come back. And then we do the afternoon session as well, right? So similar 3 days exactly like this. So, but if you feel tired, if you feel that you want to grab a coffee, please excuse yourself out of the room. Grab something because you are responsible to keeping you awake. Right? You are responsible. Some of the time it's going to happen that I'm speaking that you are somewhere else. So bring yourself into the room. It's going to happen, I know. I did the same thing when I was sitting in your seat. So it's going to happen. So bring yourself into the room because that's your responsibility. I can't do that for you. Some of the content you might find boring. Some of the content you might find interesting. But grab it. Right? Become a sponge in this space. So we're going to go through all that detail and we're going to talk about it. But I think 3 days is like a journey. At the end of that, I want you guys to have a clear idea which game you're going to play. Right? So that Monday morning when it comes, you're going to start executing that game. I'm not saying that game is going to marry to that game. You don't have to marry that game, right? Stay there for a long time. You just start. You say, this looks right today, and I'm just going to start walking on that, and I'll start getting the clients. And I'm going to show you how to actually onboard your client, get your client, start focusing on them, right? I'm going to give you a strategy, not just tell you what it is. I'm going to give you a strategy to onboard client at the international level. So one of the things you guys need to start thinking, if you haven't thought of that, exclude just Melbourne as your market. Internationally is your market. Melbourne is just very tiny piece. Melbourne's very tiny. If your business is not serving internationally, it's going to be really hard to expand. Because if you're focusing on something, you might as well focus on something big, right? Rather than tiny. So if you're focusing in Melbourne market, if you're just going to work in a Melbourne market, then it's going to be really hard. So you might do it for next 6 months to 1 year, that's fine, but expand in a way that you can actually take it to the international and start doing that as well, right? At least Australia, right? Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, other parts of the world as well. So look into that as well, okay? Let's look at this one. So first, before we start into that space, remember what I said, that when you had any success in life, whether it's a small, whether it's a large, any or massive success, you became something. You took that ownership, you became somebody. When you become somebody, you become an expert in that space. When I say an expert, I'm not saying an expert is somebody who has to the university degree and all that. And I think these are the myths we have in the society, that to become an expert, you need a university qualification. There is no expert, right? You don't need that university qualification to call yourself an expert. But let's very quickly look at it. What is an expert, right? I just wanted you guys to have this understanding. The expert is a person with a high degree of skill in or knowledge of a subject. Could be any subject. Pick any subject. You are knowledgeable person in that subject. The person you can trust, the person who defines what you to pay attention to, what things means, how things work, how to advance, how things might turn up. Basically an informed person who gets paid for their knowledge and experience. So now look at your life. You guys are already experts. You've been doing whatever you're doing for a long time. You already have that skill. You already have that capability. You've been doing something in your life in last many years since you've been on this planet. Something, right? Where people trust you for something. People come to you for advice. They ask you questions. They know that you are the go-to person for that certain thing. That might be really tiny thing. That might be just about how to bake a cake. People ask you and keep asking you, tell me, how do I bake a cake? They call you and ask you how to bake a cake. Right? You are the go-to person for that kind of stuff. But the only thing is, you haven't realized yet that you can actually get paid for that as well. It just because it hasn't occurred. We haven't been. This is not a standard way of thinking. You're probably thinking that, I need to have a job, I need to be IT, I need to be at this certain domain in that which are publicly defined domains. You might be really good at skateboarding. You might be really good at surfing. You might be really good at talking to people. You might be really good at something, right? People call you and ask you, how do you do this? How do you make connection with other people really quickly? How do you do that? Then you're like, oh, that's easy. It's pretty easy for you because you've been doing it for a long time. But for other people, it's a massive. They don't know how you do it, right?
Somebody asked me that question already yesterday.
Which one?
The same thing. How do you connect to people?
There you go.
How do you just do it? I said, and that person said that I'm such an introvert and I think I just don't gel with people. I said, but people is what you need to talk to. It's easy.
There you go. Right? See, it's easy for you.
It's not easy.
There you go. It's not easy for somebody.
Stop.
Now, can you believe that? Can you think of that now?
This
Right?
is one thing that I never hesitate in doing.
So
Talk to people.
you guys both sitting in the room now with a perfect example.
Yeah.
It's really easy for somebody, and it's not easy for somebody. Absolutely not easy, right? So you think that it's like pretty easy for everybody. Why not easy, right? It's just simple thing, right? So this is how we look at our life. Because we've been given these boxes, and I'm really, this is what pisses me off all the time, but I'm really, now the education system, what happens is, we've been given these boxes all our life. This is PM, IT, doctor, engineer. Anything else you're trying to put in there, say somebody, you want to be a sports player, that's going to be denied. Somebody, I want to be cake baker. That's going to be like ridiculed. I want to be connector. I want to actually create something where people can connect. That's going to be, holy shit, why are you doing this? Right? That's going to be denied by people because they don't see this in a simple picture. These are the simple boxes we've been given by the people, and we all need to comply with that. The reason I'm talking to you about this is because I want you guys to open up your horizon, and you want to open up your, I want you guys to start thinking bigger, not just thinking of that limited space we've been taught all the time. That you studied 6 months or 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in the university, or you worked for somebody for 10 years, that you need to do the same thing what you did at the job. You don't need to do that. You do what you're supposed to or love doing it. And no job is good and bad as long as it makes you millions.
A good example is like programs like MasterChef. When you see the contestants,
Yeah.
they do something.
Yeah.
Their passion is cooking. They leave their jobs
Yeah.
and everything coming to that. Take the
So
challenge.
this is perfect, right? Remember that I think some people, and I want to be really distinct from what other people are doing. I'm not saying go and do your hobby. I'm saying do as much as whatever you can as long as it makes you millions. It has to make millions. Not just because I'm just talking to somebody. I like talking to people. I'm just people. No, not randomly just hobby as start doing to people. As long as it makes you millions, do that. Not just do it for the sake of doing it, right? So find something in you, or what are you good at? What are you doing it as well? So we do that as well, right? So that's what expert means, right? You are already an expert in certain domain. People ask you for advice. People ask you or share that advice with you. And people will be willing to pay when you ask them. The reason people are not paying you today, you haven't asked them to pay you. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. The reason people not paying you because you haven't asked them. And then why we say, why are people not paying me? Because you haven't asked them yet. Right? The fun is when people call you and contact you, what do? I want to pay for your things, whatever you do. I love to pay for that. Right? That's where the fun starts. You don't even have to negotiate the price. That's where the fun is. Why? Because they trust you. Trust has already been done. Now you just need to give the product. So let's look at the expert. What is expert means? That expert is express self, X factor, package and promote, educate, empower, revenue and time, right? So you want to make sure that these are the things as an expert you do it from your side, right? Most of you guys are good at expressing yourself. The other thing are educate and empower is already there. The things you need to work on is the X factor, package, how to package your skills, whatever you're doing today, and how to find revenue and time, right, in that space. How to generate that revenue and time. So let's look at experts help others move forward. So one of the only thing I would say, the only thing you guys need to do and think about is, even if you're taking on client for somebody, what are you doing is just helping them move forward. Don't think of the other things going to come in place. Don't put your mind and thoughts into it. I want to help in something this big, nothing. The simple thing, or as an expert in that space, as a consultant in that space, the only thing you're doing is helping them move forward. Whatever move forward for them, not for you, for them. If you're working in a blockchain, they want to say they want to do a roadshow for next 90 days. That's what they want to do. Move them forward in that space. If that's what they want to do, right? As a CEO, you are an advisor, you help them move forward. If you are running some other project management company, your client said, this is what we want to do, you help them move forward. Right? You help them move forward. The reason is people are stuck in the space they are today. They're looking for people who just push them, nudge them, take them to the next level. People are stuck and depressed where they are today. The person who moved them forward, that becomes their go-to person for everything. The person who helped them move forward, that person becomes the go-to person for everything. You probably have seen that in your life and you realize it, that if you look back, wherever you helped people moving forward in their life, the people come back to you for advice and thankful for everything what you have done for them. If you help them with somebody moving to a house or getting to the next level, wherever they want to go in life, career, find a job, anything you help them with certain people and you help them move forward, they help you. If you help them somebody with the operations, they don't remember you. Let me distinct that, right?
Operation level.
All right, so this is cool. In life, there is a two things, right? When I say move forward, you're helping people to get to the next level, whatever next level for them look like. The operations is the day-to-day things, the process. Most of you spend a lot of time process help. You help them console. You help them with the processes. Whatever the process might look like, in their business, whether it's pretty spreadsheets, whatever they need in that space, you help them with that space. You help them with the process. Something is broken, you go on and fix that broken thing. Right? Something needed to be get fixed, you fix that. But you don't help them move forward. That's why they don't remember you. They only remember the people who help them move forward. Help them move forward.
So which means the thinking behind everything should be whatever we are doing, even for the operations, how it's helping those people.
That's
move
right.
forward.
That's right. So what happens is in a corporate world, right? If you guys in a corporate world, we get into a room and they say, I want everybody to be in a meeting room at this time. We all pick up our laptops. We sit in the meeting for 30 minutes to 1 hour, have no idea what's happening in that room for 1 hour. We just sit there. And sometimes they just call you, come into the meeting, please. I'll give you an example. I think I said that on a call the other day. Telstra called me, one of the project managers from Telstra I worked with 2 years ago. They said, we need your help. We want you to be on a call. And I said, which call? They said, we did the design you did 2 years ago. We need help with that. And something happened. We want your expert advice. And I say, absolutely, I can. I'll send you the code and order. Please pay that. I'll be on the call. They said it might take a while to sort that out, paperwork. I said, I have enough time. Sort it out. Come back when you're ready. Right? How long it took them to do it? 3 hours. Right? So how much I charge for 1 hour meeting? $800. I'm not going to come back to the meeting for just sake of coming. I need this much. Right? So what happens with this is you can actually ask what you ask because you help them move forward. So what happened in the meeting was they just stuck fighting with each other. Right? Fighting with each other. So I did the design for that 2 years ago, and I know pretty much all that stuff. And I help them move forward. This is how you're supposed to be doing, guys. Stop doing this. What are you doing? Get into this level and move forward. So, as an expert, what are you doing? Helping people move forward. If you're not helping them move forward, they're not going to remember you. They're not going to pay you. Don't spend so much time in operations. Don't spend so much time in operations. So you want to know the risks being being an expert as well. So you might as well know now. Once you become an expert, then it's going to be really hard, right? So what's the risk? What are the risks for you to being an expert? You'll be laughed at for sure. You will be laughed at. You might lose your friends. You will feel overwhelmed. You might not make any money to begin with. That's the rule of that being an expert. You might have this, right? Because what happens when you work with friends? So this is our standard friendship scenario, right? Friends, depending which sort of, most of them, and I'll say 99% of them, they are really good at consoling you. If something happens bad, they're going to come and console you really nicely. But when something happens good, they don't like it because there's nothing to console. Right? There's nothing to feel bad about because everybody wants to be coming and want to feel bad and say, poor you. Poor, why? I'm sorry to hear that. Really bad, right? That happens with all of us all the time. But because that happens, we ended up losing most of our friends. So that's what's going to happen. Right? When you are path to journey to success, you're going to lose a lot of people. In the beginning, when you're understanding the concept of that, you might not make any money because you love doing this. Right? So become an expert on the stuff which you love doing. Don't just pick random stuff. right? When I say I picked up blockchain or I picked up the before that, I'll tell you very quickly what happened. So my journey with this is I love teaching. Right? If I'm not teaching this today, this is what I'm doing, I'll be teaching something else. Remember I gave the example to going to Mars earlier, that we need to teach people to go to Mars, how to do that? I gave the teaching example because that's what I love doing. Right? I love doing this. This is my love, right? I like it. So you got to find your domain, what you like, and you fill the blanks with what market wants. I know we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, right? That's what we're doing. But this is what's going to happen. You might lose a few people. You know it's going to be too much information. Some of the time you might feel that or just can't get it. Just too much information, right? So, but this is what's going to happen. But
is that because you, when you say, okay, so I'll just thinking about this.
yeah.
Risk of being an expert. So you will be ridiculed, whatever. Is that because you are teaching them something, being an expert, or trying to consult them? That's the process.
Yeah.
That's the process.
So what happens is when you are trying to talk to people and trying to tell people, not everybody is going to like what you do. Right?
Yeah.
The biggest thing being an expert is you putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
When you put yourself out there, a lot of people are not going to like what you do because you're out there.
Liking or they just don't trust you as yet.
Everything, right? They might not like what you say. They might not trust you what you say, depending where they come from. Some of the people they like you, but they don't like what you say.
Yeah.
Right? Different industry. Right? Some people they just hate you. Doesn't matter what you do. Some people are jealous. They want to do that, but they can't do that, and they won't feel like the reason people like they're jealous because they see themselves not taking that action because they want to be that. Yeah, so they become in that protection for themselves that okay, this is how I'm going to play this game. Right? I'm jealous from that because I want to be that person, but I can't be that person, so I need to show something. So that jealousy comes from.
And also, some of the people are like they try and act really protective of the other person seeking a new environment.
Oh yeah.
Like, don't go out with this.
Yeah.
Like, it'll hurt more. This is an important workshop, dude. Please
Yeah.
let me.
Yeah.
And things like that. But
People look. Everybody does everything from their heart, whatever they think is right. Right? Whatever
When
they've been
people
taught.
ridicule you, do you go back to yourself and just say what's lacking in me in terms of I don't have that much expertise or I haven't become an expert?
No,
I'm trying
no,
to do
no,
it.
no, not at all.
No, just
No,
do
I
it.
think the biggest thing is you owning that yourself being an expert. When you own it, I usually say that, and my way of looking at it, if you guys can see this, if this is a mountaintop, you claim this. You claim your own mountain. You claim your own mountaintop, and you claim it. Nobody's going to give it to you. You claim it. Right? You claim the title. The moment you claim the title, people might not like it to begin with, but in next 6 months, they're going to give you that title because you claimed it. Let me give you an example. If you tweak what you say to other people about you, they're going to start to trust you in a while. If you are a project business analyst, change the line. If somebody says, what do you do? Just don't say, I'm a business analyst. Say, I'm an expert business analyst. Like, what is an expert business analyst do? Right? I'm an expert project manager. What expert project manager? What does they do? Right? Not just a project manager, expert project manager. I'm an expert in that. I claim that title. Claim the title. Nobody is going to give you the title. Name it, whatever you want to name it. Find a name and give it to yourself because nobody gives us anything, right? You need to give yourself that name.
6 months down the line, there'll be a job posting with that.
Yeah, with that title. Yeah, there will be. There will be. Give yourself title. If you want to be a blockchain expert, title and everything, you need to tweak it in a way you are an expert in that space. You are titling yourself that you are the guy to come to. Right? Otherwise, nobody's going to give you title. Who gave me the title? Nobody. I picked up the title and I put it on myself. This is what you're going to get call me from tomorrow.
We had
Right?
to tweak it once when I migrated to
Yeah.
India.
So that's why this is your mountain. At the end of 3 days, I want you guys to have the mountaintop for you, and I want you guys to claim it. Whatever it is for you. I know we're going to do some exercises. It's going to come out. But I want you guys to have the mountaintop and claim your mountaintop for yourself. Because when you claim it, people will respect you. Right? So this is how you do the mastery. Replace the blockchain word with something else if you have something else in mind. But this is how it look like. Claim and master your topic. Claim it. Claim it. Claim and master. Pick your tribe. Pick your tribe, because without a tribe, there is no business anymore. Have I got?
By tribe, you mean customers?
No, no, no. Let's explain this bit of. I want to sort of put a stress on this so you guys understand this. 200 years ago, I'm going to talk about history a little bit. 200 years ago, we used to have this how we looked like. So, okay, I'll draw this. I'm good at drawing this kind of stuff. So this is how it looks like, right? This was 200 years ago. Then we had this guy sitting here on this place, people walking from here, and we call them customers. Customers were coming into the different towns. They walk into different towns, they buy stuff, and they move on. Right? People were coming in and buying stuff. What happened about when the industrial age gone really well about 100 years ago, or 100, about 80, 70 years ago? What happened is these customers became clients. Means that you keep going back to the same shop again and again. Like if you recall your parents, your mom and dad, where you sort of lived, you always shopped at the same shop, right? You gone to the same Coles, the same Woolies, same fruit and veg shop. You always did the same banking at the same place. You always. Now we've been changing now, but I'll tell you at that time, about 50, 60 years ago, we had the same culture. We bought the same stuff. Even, people came to a house. Everything was exactly the same. We had clients. People were just doing the same thing for us all the time. If something we need tailoring done, we had certain shops to walk into. We bought from the same shop. Our clothes were from the same shop. My uncle bought from the same shop. My dad bought from the same shop. Everybody in my family were buying from the same shop. Right? Everybody was doing the same thing. That was a time when we had clients. But what happened is, since the social media came in, we changed this to call tribes. So what is tribes means here? Or in other words, I call it communities. People call it community. What tribes and community means here is people don't randomly buy stuff anymore. People don't buy from each other. People just don't have clients. They have tribes. Means that I created a tribe and I'm going to sell to that tribe. That community of people I'm going to sell to. I don't sell to one person randomly. I sell to that community lookalikes. I sell it to them, all of them globally, right? Or in at least Australia. I sell it to them in that space. I don't just sell it to them one or two people. I sell it to people like that. If my market is, I'm selling to the people who are IT market, who are in that domain, I'm selling to all people who are in IT market, right? Globally, not just one place. So I'm creating my community. So the way you create a community, you need to build the community first. So the way to do it, we'll talk in the day 3 when the whens and hows comes in place, exactly step by step how to do this work. This is to begin with that you need to learn to build your tribe. The reason you don't have a business today, because you don't have a tribe. What are you doing is, you're getting up and trying to go the traditional way that somebody is going to walk past and buy from me. You're applying the 200 years old method today, which does not work. That somebody is just going to walk past and might just buy from my website, my shop, from my business. Somebody's just going to contact me and just randomly buy from me. Nah, nobody buys that anymore because that model does not work. If you're trying to sell to people like that, won't work. Trying to sell people like this, some of the business might work, but this one works 100% today. Today. right? Some things might change tomorrow, but this works today. Does it make sense? Yeah?
Is that something about like customer profiling to define exactly what your customer look like and approach people that actually fit into that profile? Is it?
It's like that,
Yeah.
but we're going to talk more in this space on tomorrow or later today, I think, about, yes, profiling, creating customer avatar and stuff, but not in that space as well, because I want to talk about my discovery finding a customer avatars as well. Give you a very quick briefing. What are we going to talk about? Have you ever noticed it whenever you create a customer avatars, we've been given customer that how our customer look like. Like say for example, when I said IT market, my target market was like, if I follow traditional method, right? My IT market is the person who works in IT, he's 30 to 35-year-old, he's got 2 kids, he got that. Right? That's certain thing. Or we say my market is accountants, or my market is mom and dads who have a house and mortgage, and that my market is this. That's not the way things work today. My discovery to $1 million changed the client avatar, the way we look at it. I'm going to talk about that because, as I said earlier, everything is moving. You need to move your clients too, right? Because we're targeting the static people. Like we're doing a Darren thing, we're targeting the static people. But people are not static anymore, they're moving. You just need to find out where they're moving towards and take them there. Does it make sense? We're going to talk in detail, right? Same thing. All right, discover the problem ambitions. I'm going to talk about it, how to discover it. We have the process. Give you a very quick brief onto that so that you have inside story. Do you know I know all your problems today? I know all your problems.
No, you don't.
I know all your problems.
That's a big claim.
Can I say? Can I say? No. So, hang on. Sorry. Let me define that. When I say all your problems in the business world, I'm not personal. Like personal. I'm not that personal level. I'm only talking business here, right? It's not your fight with husband and wife, all that kind of stuff. Not that kind of stuff. I'm talking about business. The reason is because you told me. You told me your problems. Remember, I asked you to fill a survey forms. You told me. And how many of you asking your clients to fill those survey forms?
I don't do something. I'm sorry.
Right? So that's where discover their problem and ambitions. You got to ask the right question in a way that people think that it's going to solve their problems. I'm going to give you that. You can copy my entire thing. Copy my entire thing and apply in your business. You don't need to create from day one. Copy it. Do you know that any? Sorry, yeah.
So also asking the right question to your client.
That's why I'm going to give you the questions. Yeah.
But he knows what he's talking about.
I'm going to give you the questions. That's fine. Questions are there. You can copy it. But do you know that if somebody asks me to apply for an advisory, they want to make me their advisor in their firm, they have to go through a pain first. It's not easy for them to work with me. I didn't make it that easy. The reason for that is they qualified themselves why they need me, rather than me qualifying them why they. Right? Right? It's a fishing. It's not hunting. So people come to me all the time. They want me to advisor. I send them the form. 90% of them don't even come back.
If they don't want to go through that,
Yeah.
you're not paying.
Yeah. I know. I want them to go through pain because if there is no enough pain, look at it. If there is not enough pain, means that they don't need my solution. I want them to go and associate me with the pain and saying Jag can help us. That's why they pay me.
A lot of people they go for because I used to give like a complimentary session to a lot of the clients.
Yeah.
And I go there, and lots of people they asked a lot of questions during the first one. At the beginning, I was dumb. I was giving a lot of solutions, and then they ring me again and again. I say, look, the moment I talk about bang, let's sign a contract, it disappears.
Disappear. Yeah.
Just like that.
I'll talk about it day 3, and I'm going to give you my contracts.
Yeah.
Like, if you are working in a blockchain, if you're working in some other space, I'll give you my contract, and I'm going to show you a non-intrusive way to send the contracts, which does not look like a contract.
The terms of engagement.
Yeah, but they sign. So look at it, right? Do you guys know that you signed a contract before you came in here?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a form we sign with.
Yeah, you signed the form, right? But that's the form physical, but I do the same thing with international. International, I can't move physically, but I've got a method to do that with international as well. So different, same model what I'm teaching here, I do it online as well. Except what I'm teaching today, I'm not going to be teaching them except 3 days, everything else is there. So I'm going to show you how you can do the same model, right? Exactly step by step. So that's going to come. But create a solution. You need to provide a solution. Most of you don't have a solution yet. Means that you have a product, but you don't have a solution. You have a product, you do this, you do that, you do this, you just do project management, you do everything for them, but you don't have one solution. People are not looking for products, they're looking for solutions of their problems. You need to have, so my solution, I'll give you my example, see if that relates. I know that by looking at the market for so long now, working, people have no standards for ICOs. They don't have any standards. Nobody's got it. What did I do? What did I do? I claimed the mountain. I claimed it. I said, I've got the standard. Whenever I have a meeting with somebody, I bang onto that standard all the time. You have a standard? No, I don't. I have a standard. Come into me. Right? That's why they come. That's why they pay. Because they don't have it, I have it. How long did it take me to do it? 3 weeks? No, not long like that at all. Right? It's very easy to create a standard.
If something is zero and nothing else, you define it.
I defined it.
Yeah.
Well, I know. That's why people pay me. That's why I'm standing here, because I claim the mountain. I want you guys to be claiming the mountain. That's the back end scene. I'm sharing everything what I do, right? So I want to be honest in this space. So I want to treat it as not just like I'm going to not tell you, I'm going to teach you, but I'm not going to show you my business. I'm going to show you my business. It's there. It's going to be $1 million business less than 1 year. Less than 1 year. Right? And it's there. Right? And there is a reason why it works. I know it works because it's a standard stuff which people forget. They forget to do it for their businesses. They're good at one business, one side really well, but they forget the other side of the business side. Because you guys are really good in what you do, but you don't do the other bits. I'm just filling the gap. Like, take on this and add the bits into you. You're going to be shining and like diamond tomorrow, right? Because you got that. Create a solution, create avenues to connect. This is my biggest problem's been. When I started my first company, people did not know how to connect with me. Remember what I said to you guys? I have a form which I send people to fill out when they want to connect with me, when they want to hire me as an advisor. I have a place. People contact me from LinkedIn, they email me, they come in every form and shape, they send everything. So what happens is Sophie, the girl who manages my LinkedIn or social profile, or any person comes in, her first job is, whenever somebody asks in that place, say that they want an advisor, they want that, Sophie send them the form. That's the avenues to connect. People connect, do this, and then come back. And most people don't even come back because that's just bullshit. They just need somebody for free. Right? What most people do, they're like, oh, thank you for coming. I love to work with you. And they start emailing them back, and the person know that these guys are desperate. They can't find a job anywhere else. They're like, oh, sorry, we can't pay you. We're only going to give you by token. This, that. Come and jump on the call. We need that. All that has started to happen because there is no standard from your side, and the people do whatever they think they need to do. Right? To do that standard thing. Do business. When I say business here, I literally actually mean a business. I don't mean a hobby, I mean a business. I want you to have a same standard as wherever you work as a corporate, you have a standards. I want you to have the rules, right?
That's one mistake I made.
Yeah.
Got emotionally involved.
Way too much. Way too much. Can somebody tell me? Fill this blank. I think some of you guys probably know that I asked this question again. What are rules for? If I say to you, rules are meant to be what? What would you say?
Broken.
Broken, right? That's what everybody says. And I haven't seen anybody say something else.
Rules meant to be made.
Rules meant to be? Yes. Rules are meant to be followed. Let me explain this before I sort of go into. When I say rule meant to be followed, for you to be successful in certain things, there has to be some rules. Not somebody else's rules, not market's rules, not your mom and dad's rules, not your wife and husband's rules, rule defined by you. There has to be certain rules which you define it, whether you pick a copy from external, whether you define your own rules, but there has to be rules. But when you define those rules, you must follow them. You must follow them. Because most of us, and I did the same mistake, I didn't define the rules and I didn't follow any rules. Why people win Olympics? Because they created their rules. Rules are wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, go into the pool for 6 hours every day for 6 days or 7 days a week for next 6 years, you're going to win the Olympics. These are the rules. If you want to be the best cricket player in that, get up in the morning, go into the net, practice, 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 practice. These are the rules. What rules you have in your business? What rules you have in your business today? If you don't have rules, you need to create one. What do? Don't look at the emails when you get into the work for 3 hours. Don't look at the emails. Look at what you're supposed to be doing. The first and foremost important thing for you to is get clients, get clients, get clients. The only thing my mentor always said to me, and I laugh it all the time, is business is very simple. And in his language, he says business is very simple. There's only 2 things in the business. Learn how to get clients and learn how to keep them. Everything else is a bullshit.
Tribes now.
Sorry?
Tribes now, not clients.
Yeah. Learn how to get them and learn how to keep them. Right? We do all the other fancy stuff along the way, other stuff, just try to avoid it. But we forget the 2 fundamental things. I just need clients and I just need to learn how to keep them. So they just keep coming back. Just keep coming back. Keep coming back. I don't need to go out and get new ones all the time. Yeah?
Invest in getting them, then invest in
Keeping them.
Yeah. To get your return.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I love this idea. Why would you do anything else that just learn how to get more and learn how to keep them? All right, so let's talk about me, right? A little bit of this. I told you about what I story and everything, and I worked for somebody else, all this stuff. But why do I love this? Why do I love being an expert? Look, my biggest thing is being an expert for me is number one thing is called freedom. Freedom is number one thing for me. I don't need to turn up in the morning at somewhere. There's no job for me. I'm not looking at the time or anything, right? There's nothing I need to be anywhere. There's no job, right? And I work delivery system on a value, not by hours. That's what I do. The other thing I have is a lifestyle. My lifestyle is so good, I wouldn't trade for anything else in life. I could actually stay here, work from anywhere in the world, stay anywhere, run my. You guys dial into Wednesday, I could actually be doing from Europe, I could be doing from anywhere else in the world. That's a lifestyle. I don't need to be physically present. I could be living in a Gold Coast and fly here for 3 days, do this, and fly back to Gold Coast. I could run this next day, next week in Sydney as well, same way. Right? My lifestyle gone really well. What I do, like I love my family. I drop my kids off in the school pretty much every day now. Used to be, I didn't because I wanted to get to the city every day. Because I was working, right? That was my lifestyle. Now I have a freedom. That's the number one thing. Making a difference. I think all of us, I said to you guys all the time, we all living in this planet, we want to make a difference. Now I have money and time which I can actually use to make the difference, right, with the people. And somewhere else. Money is just the second thing. After certain numbers, it's just a number, right? Once your needs are met, what do you do with the money? Nothing. You can't do anything. but that gives you constant learning environment. That is freaking amazing, man. I can't even tell you how much this cool is. This constant learning environment is the best place to be, because remember what I said, we all are learning machines. We are all moving forward. This gives me an environment to learn all the time. Learn from the people in the room, learn for the people I do, because some people come back with a problem which I don't even know the answer. Right? So I need to go and find the answer. It's a learning environment. Everything is learnable. Somebody comes in, like standard business, I know some people come back, I have this struggle in the business. How can you help me with this business? I need to go and learn and find ways to do that. I need to create new courses, right? I need to create this. I spent about a month creating this. It's a new creation. I learned so much in this space. I haven't learned that much in last many years because I created it. Created it from day one. So learning is the best thing. All right. So what we'll do is we'll take a break for 10 minutes. If you want to go to the toilet or something, you want to grab a tea or coffee. When we come back, we want to do this exercise. When we come back, I want you to do this exercise. What do you want to learn? What do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? Why do you think you can do this? All that sort of stuff. What's your intention? What's your intention? We're going to talk about the intention for 3 days and for rest of the next 6 months and stuff as well. But put it for 3 days. Put it for 3 days. All right. Let's have a break. Or questions if you have anything.